As if we did not get enough drama and bullshit news out of the UFC last week, it is ripe again this week with all sorts of shit. In this video, we're going to be talking about the new record that Jon Jones has set, coming in at the second longest heavyweight reign in the UFC history. All the drama between him and Tom Aspinall's fight not being booked, as well as some drama leading up to the Kamaru Usman and Joaquin Buckley fight. Overall, decent bit of stuff to go over today, so we'll get right to it. ESPN MMA put this out a couple days ago, and community notes coming in pretty strong here, and this is blasphemy, true blasphemy, saying that Jon Jones has the second longest undisputed title reign in UFC history, only behind Cain Valasquez. Now, this would not be such a disgrace if Jon Jones hadn't fought 2 times in the last 785 days. There has to be some sort of stipulations that the UFC puts in place before you start throwing around bullshit claims like this. If you're going to have an actual title reign that is being counted by days, there should be some sort of level of activity that the UFC requires from a fighter to even be considered in this. The UFC is sort of looking like WWE when it does shit like this, which we all know it's not, and we hope that they stay as far away from each other as possible. But this is the type of shit that when they put quotes out like this is what really riles up the MMA community, and rightfully so. This is fucking crazy. 2 title defenses in the last 2 years. And Aspinall's been calling for this fight now for years. He's almost in a position right now where Conor McGregor had Michael Chandler, where Tom Aspinall is the undisputed interim heavyweight champ, and he doesn't want to fight anyone but Jon, which is, it's reasonable. Like, he wants to be the undisputed, not the interim. But this joker and his 780 plus days of reign won't agree to a fight. And we've seen in the last couple days, Tom Aspinall's father has become very vocal about how it's becoming very upsetting that Jon Jones has still not accepted the fight. Dana White, in his post-fight press conference after Kansas City, stated that he still has 100% confidence that this is going to come to fruition and these 2 guys are going to fight. But is Aspinall going to be on the sidelines for almost the entire year of 2025 before he's granted this fight? Typically, Jon Jones, when he fights, at least the last 2 years, like, this last one was in November. We're already past March. Is it going to be in November again until we see him get back in the octagon? Is he going to wait for the MSG card? Like, what are we waiting on? He's been out for 5 months now, 6 months, and still, and this was an absolute domination. He took very, very, very little damage in this fight. So there's no reason he shouldn't have had a quick turnaround. No reason. But look at this joke. It's a joke. Gets the heavyweight belt. And this right here is what they are calling the second longest title reign in UFC heavyweight history. A fight against a washed Stipe Miocic. Washed. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Stipe was years removed from his best days. And this was coming off of his last fight where he got separated from his consciousness against Francis Ngannou. So he gets murked against Ngannou, takes a long layoff, just like Jones does, and then comes back And building up to this fight, UFC is calling this Jon Jones is fighting the greatest heavyweight of all time. And yes, that might have been true 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, but Stipe's 40 fucking 2 years old, about to be 43 this year. Who are we kidding? Who are we kidding? Literally 3.5 years off. And his last fight was against Francis Ngannou. He's been firefighting, probably training very little, knowing that this is going to be a fat payday regardless. And that's what we're calling the second greatest and longest heavyweight reign in UFC history. Beats a Cyril Gane, who is, again, like, there for a year or so, he was giving heavyweights a problem because he had good movement and no one in the heavyweight division moves like him, but has been on a steady decline. Like, I don't see him being anywhere really near the title again. If he fights Tom Aspinall is gonna destroy him. But like, you're looking at 2 fights in the last 5 years, guys, and they're calling this the second longest reign in heavyweight history. It's diabolical. I can't even comprehend how the person at ESPN MMA that put this fucking tweet out. Oh, Jon Jones has been the fucking no. That's going to be a great idea. They had to be typing this up going, this is going to get the people real fucking riled up. Which, on the community notes, you can see, he's not. He's not undisputed. Because there is an interim belt that has been given to Aspinall. I mean, people are not happy. And again, like, I think the fucking moron at ESPN, the intern that put this tweet together, in their head, they're probably like, oh, this will really be funny. Fucking clown. Clown, clown, clown. This is how long Aspinall's been waiting. There was a kind of a split second there in 2024, mid to late 2024, where people weren't 100% certain that the Stipe fight was going to happen. That took a long time to come to fruition. And he waited. He fought Curtis Blades in July. And that fight against Stipe took place in November. So Aspinall's coming up on a year of inactivity because he's just been waiting on Jones. Just been waiting. He's been waiting since his Marcin Tybura fight. Honestly, I mean, he was calling for Jon Jones before he even beat Sergey. He's like, I am going to beat Jon Jones. Give me that fight. And the only reason that Curtis Blades got this title fight for the interim belt is because Jon Jones isn't active. This last fight that Tom had, should have been against Jon Jones for the belt, for the undisputed belt. But the UFC thought that Stipe versus Jon was a bigger narrative to push, which again is crazy. Tom Aspinall is fucking 10 years younger. 10 years than Stipe. I'm not saying that Jon Jones is a young grasshopper himself, but Tom Aspinall is fucking 10 years less than Stipe. And the UFC thought that because Stipe at one point was the greatest heavyweight of all time 5-10 years ago, that it was a bigger storyline to push of Stipe and Jon Jones. Like, it's starting to get a bit comedic at this point. Because we all know that Jones and Aspinall is the fight to make, and it is going to happen. Let's be clear about that. I think it's going to happen. I'm fairly confident. When is it going to happen? That I have no fucking clue. And I think that is where a lot of fans in the UFC world are starting to get frustrated. We've been waiting 6+ months now since Jon's last fight of when the fuck this is going to happen. And we have no clear indication of when. We keep getting, big YouTube personas like Chael Sonnen and other Ariel Helwani types just talking out of their ass saying, oh, it's been signed. They have a date, blah, 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 blah. We've been hearing this for a year now. It's just one of those ones that I'll believe it when I see it. And I really do hope that we do see it. I think Tom Aspinall is gonna present a lot of issues for Jon Jones. And it's an intriguing match. Because Jon Jones, a lot of people they get to the highest level in this sport, and sometimes it's by sheer luck of matchups. Some people, it's no secret that some people have a way harder road to the top in the UFC than others. It's no secret at all. Some people get spoon-fed their opponents into the top 5, and then, somehow they end up hanging around in the top 5, maybe getting a title shot. That's not what this is. It's not. God. Tom Aspinall is very, very skilled, but Jon Jones is actually skilled. Like I said, some people kind of get to the top 5, top 10, and it's kind of their strength of opponents wasn't very good. But Jon Jones has beaten the who of who. His skill is very, very high. And it's frustrating because this tweet could hold a lot of weight. But because he's been so inactive and this is the narrative that is being pushed down our throats, that's the part that's upsetting. Because skill-wise, he's so good. He's so fucking good. But people start not questioning his skill, but it's like, this doesn't have as much meaning as it did if he had defended the belt 4 times at this point. If he had already fought Aspinall. But he's been so inactive, and the skill level in the UFC has continued to get better and better over the last few years, that this just, no one gives a fuck about this. Everyone gives a fuck about this. Stop playing around and give us the fight that we all want. Just give us a date. That's all we want. Please, UFC, please. We've had way too much shitty drama and just overall bad news. But what's not bad news is this fight announcement. This was announced right before last weekend's card with Ian Gary, and I'm pumped about it. I am. Kamaru Usman is coming off of, I believe, his fight with Hamzat. There's a reason that Joaquin Buckley is getting this fight, guys. If Kamaru Usman was still at the top of his game, I don't think Joaquin gets this fight. I just don't. It is, I think, going to be a really, really good matchup. But Joaquin, especially after his last fight against Stephen Thompson, knocking out Stephen Thompson, Stephen Thompson's a very dangerous striker. And Joaquin Buckley folded him and stayed safe. He did really, really well staying safe before he put Stephen Thompson out. And Kamaru, not that he doesn't have great fight striking. He has flashes. I mean, he knocked out Jorge. Not saying that Jorge is a great striker himself. I mean, at least in the last few years, he hasn't been taking his training seriously whatsoever. when he beat Kamaru, or when he beat Jorge, 4 years ago, that was really the extent of his striking. Lost to Leon Edwards twice, then lost to Chimaev. So he's on a 3-fight skid. It's not looking too hot for Kamaru. I think he's in danger of going on a 4-fight skid here. Joaquin Buckley is really, really riding a high right now. I believe his last loss was against Kevin Holland. But since then, and when he moved, because I believe he started out in middleweight, I want to say. He lost to Kevin Holland, was his first loss. Lost to Nasruddin Imavov, which Nasruddin is now the number one. I'm number one, brother. And lost to Chris Curtis, which is kind of crazy because Chris Curtis isn't really. I mean, he's a dog. He's tough. He's got heavy hands, but all these other guys that he's put away are definitely more skilled than Chris Curtis. So that was a weird one. But he's on a 6-fight win streak right now, and Colby Covington, Stephen Thompson, Ruzabayev, Vicente Luque, Alex Morono, not as impressive. Andre Fiallo. Crazy KO against Ipa. But yeah, I mean, like, he's having a very, very good streak right now, and he's very explosive. He's funny as shit. He brings a lot of energy to the to the pressers. I thought it was hilarious. He was clowning on Machado, Gary, during the weigh-ins. So he's certainly already, not that he's seeing past Kamaru Usman by any means. I think he knows that Kamaru is a very tough test, but this is another great example of, an up-and-coming prospect in the division going against a welterweight, tried and tested dog. Kamaru was 20-1 before he lost his last 3. Father Time seems to be coming for him, but this is kind of is Kamaru still going to stay at the top of the food chain? If he loses this, I could see him potentially hanging it up. And then, if Joaquin Buckley loses, it's like, okay, Kamaru's still got a little bit in the tank. He can stop a surging prospect. And maybe Joaquin needs a couple more fights before he fights someone in the top 5 again. So it's a great matchup. The matchmakers did great on this one. I think Joaquin, like I said, he's not already looking past Kamaru, but he's smart. He's building himself up. He was doing what he was doing at the Ian Machado Gary weigh-ins for a reason. He's already building that fight, and there's some real beef there, truly. Joaquin Buckley and Machado do not like each other. Machado and Prates, there was some beef during the press conference that was, just like every other fight gets built up, but they were very respectful to each other at the end of the fight. Joaquin Buckley and Machado, I do not see them touching gloves. I do not see them giving each other respect after the fight. There's some true bad blood there. And I think if Joaquin Buckley does win this fight against Kamaru, which is a very high percentage, I do believe that he's going to win the fight. I do. I think he's physically a lot stronger than Kamaru. I think his wrestling defense is good enough to keep the fight on the feet for the most part. Even if Kamaru is able to get him to the ground, I'm not quite sure he's going to be able to keep him there. So it's a very, very intriguing fight. It's going to be a changing of the guard, so to speak, if Joaquin wins, and then it's going to be an old dog keeping a surging prospect from getting his title shot or a title eliminator shot after this fight. So very, very fun. I'm loving this announcement. I don't think that the rest of that card is going to be, I think Rose Namajunas is on that card as well, which is crazy. Kamaru and Rose always fight. It's like Trevor Whitman's got. Obviously, Trevor Whitman is one of the most talented coaches in the game, but it's like he's got a lot of pull within the UFC. He's like, I want all my fighters on the same card. Like, I'm pretty sure he's had Justin, Rose, and Kamaru all on the same card at once. And 99% of the time, Kamaru and Rose are fighting the same night. So Team Onyx is going to have a busy night, I'm sure. It'd be cool if they added, uh, some other heavy hitters. It is a fight night, so they're probably not going to waste too many other big names on this one. But nonetheless, very exciting fight news. I think that the MMA community needs a fight announcement very, very badly. I think that this is going to continue to make MMA fans mad. I think it's going to continue to be a bad look on the UFC if they don't announce this fight soon. I know that I'm starting to get a little antsy, um, especially with the state that the heavyweight division is in. It's not looking good. You know, Tai Tuivasa is like 700 fucking pounds. Sergey Popovich is not doing well anymore. Curtis Blades. It's the same fucking story and has been for the last several years and in the top 5, top 10 of the heavyweight division. And the fact that they're stalling this fight announcement even longer is just, it's not doing them any favors. So hopefully we get some more good news in the coming weeks and this fight gets announced, but I'm not holding my fucking breath, and I don't think you should either. Well, that's the drama for the day. We'll catch you on the next one.